Trevor Calabar, take a bow, mate. Oh, what a Premier League debut. Stick around. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Blue Pride of London. I am your host, Nathan, and it's an absolute joy to see all of you here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. So if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, it would mean so much to us if you would consider doing so. And if at any point you do in fact like this video, please hit the thumbs up button just down there. It would mean an awful lot and it will help the videos be seen by a lot more people. So yeah, give that a big thumbs up. That'd be awesome. Now, before we get into the match review, I'm just going to relay a little bit of information that has come out of Chelsea in the last few hours. That looks like Tammy Abraham's move to Roma is almost complete and guaranteed. It's going to be in the region of £34 million, which does sort of answer a question which I had a couple of days ago. On Thursday afternoon, Chelsea had to submit their squad numbers for the upcoming season. And like many people, I assume Lukaku will be taking the number 9 shirt. But I noticed that Tammy Abraham was submitted with the number 9 shirt for the upcoming season, which made me wonder what was going on. Now, there was a little asterisk next to Lukaku saying that because of his quarantine, his number hasn't quite yet been submitted. And, you know, it did raise a couple of questions, like what squad number would he have? But then it also sort of like maybe Chelsea's potential sort of sale of Tammy Abraham hasn't yet been completed. But by the looks of it, he's definitely going, which is quite good as well. There is a buyback clause in that contract. So in a few years' time, when he has developed more as a player over in Italy, that we could buy him back, which, considering we've just bought back a striker for almost £100 million, looks like a good bit of business. But that does free up the number 9 shirt, which we're all going to assume that Lukaku is going to take over. So which also means that maybe the voodoo of the number 9 shirt is pretty much done and dead in the water. Tammy did very well in the number 9 shirt and looks like Lukaku is going to exceed that as well. So that's good news all around. We wish Tammy all the best in Italy and we look forward to hopefully seeing him in a Chelsea shirt again in the future. But let's get into the game, shall we? Because what a cracker it was. So Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. This game couldn't have gone any better if we sort of like wanted it to. It was a sensational performance by Chelsea. We dominated from the first set. There were an awful lot of question marks going into this game. Like, we've just played 120 minutes in the Super League Cup. There were going to be a lot of tired legs. There was going to be an awful lot of like players that weren't necessarily up to scratch and maybe having a little bit of fatigue, but they did not show it at all in this game. From the second we kicked off, it was just literally Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. I think Mendy only had to make his first save just past the hour mark, and Crystal Palace didn't seem that they had anything in them to sort of compete with a Chelsea side that was full of confidence, that were full of sort of like so much energy that they wanted to show that they are ready for a title challenge. So let's have a quick little look at the team and, you know, some surprising additions to the team. So this is the team that started against Crystal Palace, and, you know, there's not much surprise within the formation, but Thomas Tuchel did in fact make 5 changes to the starting 11 that went against Villarreal in the Super Cup. But one player who kept his place was Trevor Calabar. And oh my days, did he have a Premier League debut to remember. He's been solid at the back for the last 2 games that he played with Chelsea. Great against Arsenal in the pre-season friendly. He played brilliantly in the Super Cup. And once again, he just showed there is a reason why Thomas Tuchel sort of demanded that this player will not be sold in this transfer window. And he thanked his coach the best way that he could. We'll go into his goal very, very shortly, but let's just have a little bit of a chat about the game overall. So like I said, Chelsea were on the front foot from the very, very start, and we played sensational passing football, brilliant defensively, fantastic in attack. There were a few early chances which sort of went away a little bit. Pulisic had a header saved and pretty much point blank. But just after around about 23 minutes, the deadlock was broken. Mason Mount was fouled just on the left-hand side outside of the box, and Mason Mount and Alonso were standing by the free kick, which seemed to be sort of like a a phase going throughout the game. Every time there was a free kick in those sort of dangerous areas, it was these two players which, sort of stood by the ball, which would have always given any goalkeeper a little bit of a headache of who's going to take it. One left footer, one right footer, two completely different type of free kick takers, and a sensational free kick which went into the top right-hand corner of the goal and sort of like broke the deadlock. But that didn't slow Chelsea down. Chelsea continued to keep on going, and shortly after, just before the break, Christian Pulisic sort of made it 2-0. It was nice to see Pulisic start a football game for Chelsea. I think it had a lot to do with maybe Kai Havertz was a little bit tired, but it was good that he took the opportunity and he took it well. He could have had about 2 or 3 goals in this game, but he sort of paid back the decision to start him with a fantastic goal. The second half sort of played out quite well, and there was a bit of a rest. I think Crystal Palace was happy for the half-time whistle to go because they were being run all over the pitch. The second half, again, Chelsea came out the blocks flying, and Chalobah, he was sensational in this game. Solid at the back, always looking to pass forward. He would run at people, he would run past people, and if he couldn't do that, he always looked for a forward pass. But he found himself in the middle of the park with so much space in front of him, and then the entire crowd was sort of like, shoot! And he truly delivered. You could see on his face the relief, the emotion. He looked to turn around to celebrate like any other player, but then he just sort of fell to his knees and started crying because, he's had a few loans. He's tried his best to break into this team, but Thomas Tuchel has seen something in him in pre-season and has now trusted the player to sort of start, probably regularly, actually. Like, is he the next breath coming into our Chelsea defence? And, it was a sensational goal. And I'm pretty sure he got man of the match, which is very well deserved. And, his post-match interviews was sort of like, I didn't know what was going on. It was just sort of like the crowd told me to shoot. I shot. I didn't know until the crowd went off that it went in. And it's, in his own words, it's a dream come true. He's been at the club since he was 8 years old. The way that Chelsea have been for the last, 15 years, it has always been difficult for an academy player to break into the first team because they would want to buy proven players. But in the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen an awful lot of academy players break into this football team and have shown that our academy is one of the best in the country, nay, the world. And it was a beautiful, beautiful performance all around. I can't fault it. And I think other clubs around the Premier League are now looking at this Chelsea team thinking they are a team that need to be feared, which is something that Thomas Tuchel said. We want to be a team that people are afraid to play against. Now, what you have to remember about this Chelsea team that started this game is that we have no brand new signings in this team. They're pretty much the same team that was playing last season. Lukaku wasn't on the bench. He wasn't even part of the entire setup because, we had a bit of suspicion. He was in quarantine. So I think he's going to be sort of like able to sort of start training with the Chelsea team come Monday, maybe Tuesday. And he might start or at least be in the squad on the bench on the Arsenal game. And potentially, I think Jules Koundé is a player that's still on Chelsea's radar. But, his team is pretty much playing hardball. I think 88 million is what they're asking for at the moment. I think Chelsea just think that's a little bit too much for him. But with the inclusion of Trevor Chalobah, maybe, Chelsea now looking, we probably don't need him. We've got a player who's come through the ranks who hasn't cost us the thing. So maybe just Lukaku will be the only signing that we make, which does show the depth of the type of squad that we have, that we can still walk into our opening game without any brand new signings and still show that we are title contenders. And yeah, there were so many chances that we missed because of the same problems that we had last season, struggle in front of the goal, some players sort of taking it on themselves that they've got to take the game by the scruff of the neck. But when you include Lukaku into this format, yeah, I still truly believe that we are firm favourites for this season. And, maybe there are a lot of European teams thinking that maybe Chelsea can sort of like defend the Champions League as well. But guys, I don't know about you, but I'm extremely pleased with our opening game. I would love to hear your thoughts, so please write your comments down below. What did you think of the overall performance? What did you think of Trevor Chalobah? You know, is he a player for the future? Is he a sort of like a player who is going to sort of like become a legend at the club, basically? That is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to reading your comments down below. And until next time, enjoy the football, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.